skipping and running. I'm like, okay, I need another vacation. But I really don't. So let's pick up our study now. We're in Acts chapter 19. At the end of Acts 19 is where we were. And what I want you to do, we have a guest today, y'all. This is Ricardo. All right, stand up, Ricardo. Everybody see you, okay? He's here with study. He said he came here just seeking God. Amen. Right, so I grabbed hold to him, and so we're going to talk. All right. Fill that out for me. You get a chance, Ricardo. I won't embarrass you in worship or nothing, but okay. I appreciate that. But we left off in our study in Acts chapter 19, at the end of Acts chapter 19. What's up, Mike? Look like retired life is treating you well. Yeah. Look at this man. All right. He trimming down everything, right? Yes, sir. Okay. Where's Wendy? You didn't leave her now? Oh, they're out of town. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember an announcement going. Okay, we're praying for her. Okay. But Acts 19. If you remember where we left off. Now, Seth, I think there is a class that I want you to go to, okay? Brother Talbert is teaching it. It's in this class. It's in the building next door. You know where Brother Talbert's office is? There's a room right outside his office, okay? Brother Stevens, you know if Brother Talbert's over there? Oh, okay. Well, stay with me. Okay, stay with me. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to get rid of you. That was a new conference class, and I want you to get to that. But nevertheless, he might be picking up the preacher today. Yeah. That being said, Acts chapter 19. Y'all there? And you remember when we left off last, there was quite a commotion going on there, right? In Ephesus, right? And the whole hubbub and the commotion was about Paul drumming up trouble, right? Basically, in Ephesus, and they were, the whole trouble was about the silversmiths and the metalsmiths, the workers, right, who made gods, and they made idols, right, and they made money off of these idols that they were making. So here come Paul preaching Jesus, and that there is no other than God. There is no gods, right, and that these idols are not gods. And it caused quite a bit of commotion for the silversmiths and the coppersmiths. Do we have a Bible? I want to loan you a Bible, Ricardo, okay? I'm sorry. But let's look in the back. We used to have some Bibles around here. How in the world we don't have Bibles? At any rate, let me quit with that. Now, Beverly has one. Oh, hold on, Cynthia, you keep it. We got one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. And I have another one in my office too, but yeah, I think I saw somebody back there trying to look for one. Acts chapter 19, I should turn there to you. Okay, so the silversmiths and coppersmiths were there. They were very upset and they were troubled because Paul preaching this message of Jesus, and that idols made with hands were not gods. These men saw it as a threat to their livelihood, right? I really don't believe they were concerned about the message until it started messing with their money. Because when they talked about it and brought this issue up, they did not say, hey, man, what are they talking about? There's no God. What they said was, you know that we make our living by this business. So we understand what their concern was. It was their livelihood. It was not even about the rightness, that's a word, the rightness of what Paul was saying, whether it was right or wrong. They didn't care about that. It was a threat to their livelihood, right? And so they brought it up and started going over it, and it became quite a riotous scene. And there was somebody who jumped in. Can y'all remember the character's name? At the end of Acts chapter 19, who stood up and said, y'all need to calm down. Hold on. Who was it? He was a politician. Okay, he stood up and said, okay, let's not be too hasty now. Who was that? It just says the mayor. Okay. Later on, it was the town clerk, your Bible says, right? And I think Alexander would speak later, right? He was one of the Smiths, actually, and they brought him to speak for him, right? And what he was trying to tell them was like, look, man, if you really got a beef with these dudes, if you really got a legal beef with them, the courts are open, take it over there, right? But as far as it relate to your religion and things that matter concerning the law, that being the law of Moses, that ain't for here. Okay, we don't do that here, okay? All right, okay, y'all go ahead on, just miss me with that, okay? That ain't my business, okay? But if you have a legal matter against, take it to the court, okay? But what we need to do is we need to break up this assembly right here. Because if we don't, it's going to look like we're just unruly for no reason. And it's going to be on us for having this unruly, disorderly assembly over these men, okay, where they haven't really done anything against you. They haven't stolen anything. They haven't taken anything, right? So we better break this up, or else it's going to look bad on us. All right? And we the ones who are going to be in trouble for this disorderly assembly, right? Okay, so at this point, Paul is in Ephesus. This is still at the end of Acts chapter 19. Remember, he sent a couple guys ahead of him into, where did he send them to? I could just tell you all the story, but I want us to know it together, right? So he sent. Now, y'all gonna have to look and see, man, because I can't multitask like this. Y'all got to help me out a little bit, okay? Who did he send ahead of him? He sent a couple guys ahead of him to Macedonia, right? You shaking your head, Bonnie? Are you seeing where? Who did he send? Say it again. Gaius, Gaius, right? All right. Now. I want you to know now, Sister Mason, the one who said that. Now, if it's wrong, then that's just Mason. But no, she right. Okay, it was Gaius. It was Gaius. And there's another one. I think it's Aristarchus. Aristarchus. Okay, these are Greek names too. Okay, I know much Greek than anybody else. Okay. Say it again. There were two of Paul's traveling companions. Now, that's interesting because traveling companions where? On this missionary journey that he's been on, that we've been following, right? This is his third trip, you will remember. And now I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Help me out, Jillian. I got these buttons here that they look different on this here. Share, right? And then it says Samuel McLawyer Jr. Is that the one I should hit? Okay. Let me see. Oh, no, it says share using Outlook. I don't want to do that. That's about to send an email. I just want to share my screen. What I'm doing, okay. Huh? Yes. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Who said that? Somebody asked me that. That was a good question because I was not. Yeah, I was on my picture thing. Here, I got it now. Look, I'll pull you all the way down here, baby. I'm sorry. Yeah, you know. I tried to warn you ahead of time, be up here with Brother Sam. You know I was going to find a way to mess it up. You know I was going to. All right, now. All right, so as I'm sharing my screen now, and it says that you are sharing your screen. So it will show up in a second. We'll show up on the map, and we're going to get a gauge of where Paul is in this journey. And he is in Ephesus right now. And what he does is he sent a couple of his travel companions up to Macedonia ahead of him. Is it there now? Check device power. Power work. Okay, all right. About to say I didn't mess that up too now. Okay, at any rate, Acts 19. Where did you see that, Sister Mason? Where he sent his companions? 29. All right. Soon the whole city was filled with confusion. Everyone rushed to the amphitheater, dragging both Gaius and Aristarchus, who were Paul's traveling companions from Macedonia. Paul wanted to go in too, but the believers wouldn't let him. Some of the officials of the province, friends of Paul, also sent a message to him, begging him not to risk his life by entering this amphitheater. So these people was out there for blood, wasn't it? All right. This assembly here was not a friendly assembly. That is not what I was looking for, you all, okay? All right. Say it again, LeBain. Okay, inside, the people were all shouting. Some, one thing, the other, another. Everything was in confusion. No, that's not it. All right. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go at this point. Last, the mayor came in, that's verse 35, said, okay, you guys, we need to break this up. No, he's in Ephesus right now. This is a riot in Ephesus that's going on here, right? Say it again, little bunny. Yeah. Oh, that's 22. Okay. So okay, yeah, that is. Okay, so he sent Timothy and Erastus. Am I saying that right? He sent them ahead. Oh, here we go. Here it is. He sent them ahead to Macedonia, right? Okay, so here is Ephesus down here. Okay, verse 22 is where Paul is right here. He sends Timothy and Erastus up to Macedonia ahead of him. See, that's where he's going to be going, right? But he himself remained in Ephesus, right? That's before the riot broke out. That happens, the riot and everything occurs then. Now Paul gets ready to leave there himself. And if you get down here in verse number 40, here's Alexander saying, I'm afraid we are in danger of being charged with rioting by the Roman government. Says there is no cause for all this commotion, right? Okay, so remember his companions is going on ahead. And if Rome demands an explanation, we won't know what to say. Then he dismissed them and they dispersed. And if you remember, this was one of those occasions where we saw that this whole scenario ended without Paul getting beat up, dragged, and all that. All right. So they just dispersed the assembly, says, okay, we really don't have nothing against these guys. Let's just break it up and move on. So what Paul does then, when the uproar was over, all right, y'all with me? Acts chapter 20, verse number 1. Now, I need a volunteer. Somebody get 2 Corinthians chapter 2. All right? Beverly McLawyer. We'll do that. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, little buddy, verses 12 through 13. All right. So here's Paul In Acts chapter 20. When the uproar was over, Paul sent for the believers and encouraged them. Then he said goodbye and left. All right. Here's Ephesus right here where the little arrow is. Y'all see it? Are y'all see? Oh, you can't see my, oh yeah, it is. You see the arrow right there? There's Ephesus. So Paul he calls for the believers, he encourages them, then he leaves, heading for, y'all see this arrow right here? This shows the path that he was taking up here to Macedonia, okay? So he leaves here. Now, in your lesson, okay, on page 23, in your lesson book, it says, where does Paul make a stop between Ephesus and Macedonia? So where does Paul stop between Ephesus here and Macedonia up here? Where does he stop? Now, Beverly. Second, we need to go somewhere else. They make a reference there, right there, in your workbook, they make a reference to 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 12 through 13. This is when Paul was in prison later on, okay? But he's giving an account, he's recounting some of his travels that he incurred when he's writing to the church at Corinth, all right? So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse number 12, because right there in Acts 20, it does not necessarily say this, but we see Paul recounting his travels there where he stopped between Ephesus and Macedonia. Okay, Beverly, let's read that. Let's read that. Now here's Paul. When I went where? Troas. 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 So Paul said, I went to Troas. Okay, go ahead. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, stop. So where did Paul go between Ephesus here? Where did he stop between Ephesus and Macedonia? Troas, right here. Y'all see it? That's where he stopped. Now, I really would like to try and wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look at your boy, y'all. Okay? Look at your boy. Okay, now, here's Ephesus. Paul says, when I went to Troas, that's where he stopped before he ended up here in Macedonia, Philippi, okay? Now, so the question was, where did he stop? He stopped in Troas on his way up to Macedonia. Now, let's get back to Acts chapter 20. Somebody else, you stay there, Beverly, because I'm going to need you, and then put your finger at 2 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse number 5. All of you who've been following along in your book and doing your work, you know where I'm going. But 2 Corinthians chapter 7, for those of us who have not fill out their workbook, not you, Bonnie. She looking at me like, oh, like you look like you're in trouble by the teacher. I'm messing with you. But little boy, you could ask 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse number 5, little boy. We're going to come there in a second. But also still keep your finger at 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 12 through 13. Now we need Acts chapter 20, verses 1 through 6. Who will volunteer to read that? We'll continue. Okay, Mike, you're here already. So Acts chapter 20, verses 1 through, just start over with verse 1 where we started.
After the uproar had ceased, Paul sent for the disciples, and after encouraging them and saying farewell, he left for Macedonia.
Stop. Now remember, this is Paul's pattern, isn't it? For him to encourage the believers, right? So really that's a lesson for us. We need to learn how to be encouragers, encouraging the believers. We live in a world today where believers need encouraging. Amen. We went to we had the supermarket yesterday, and the guy behind the meat counter was talking to us, and he said, "I'm blessed. You know, God woke us up this morning." He was saying all these things, and he says, before we left, he said, "You know, I think it's going to be all over, man, because it's getting so worse. You know, God is mad now." I said, "Wait a minute, God is angry at sin. He's always been. Okay? But we don't know when he's coming. We don't know. Not even the Son of Man knows. Right? Only God knows that. So just because things are bad, you can't say, oh, this is the worst it's ever been. I had somebody tell me that once. This is the worst it's ever been. Wait a minute. Were you in Bible times when God wiped out the face? Okay. Man, wait a minute. Okay. It got so bad, God regretted that he even made us. And that's why the flood came, right? But he said, I'm not going to do that to mankind no more. That's why he sent Jesus. You see? To be a conduit between, okay, all right, now. But anywho, but the gentleman said, okay, he's getting where I don't know. I said, we don't know when he's coming, but I tell you what we need to do is watch and pray, and we need to seek God while he can be found. What church do you go to? That was not in my conversation. I'm trying to encourage him. You know, watch and pray, I told him. Watch and pray. Right? Be vigilant. We need to be sober-minded. Right? And that's what we need to do. We need to encourage each other. Don't give up because it looked bad. No, hang in here. Hang in here. Oh, that wasn't even my prayer. I'm sorry. Now, okay, so he stopped and Troy asked, where was I going on this? Oh, okay, so, Mike, pick it up. Okay, so he encouraged the believers, and then he left to Macedonia.
Verse 2.
All right?
When he had gone through those regions and had given them much encouragement.
Okay? Stop. When he had gone through this region here, you see what I'm saying, of Macedonia, he traveled here, and watch that his path now. So he goes up to Philippi. He goes through Amphipolis. Probably wrong, but don't hold it against me. He goes through Thessalonica. Now, as he's traveling on, I want you all to know that he's picking up people who are his travel companions also. He gets to Berea, he circles down here and comes down to the coast. They're sailing now down here, and lands here in Greece. This is where we see Athens down here, right? So he lands there, and so he's in Greece now. All right, keep going, Mike.
Where he stayed for 3 months, and he was about to set sail for Syria.
Okay, stop. So he stayed here in this region here for about 3 months. Okay? And he's here down in Corinth, and what he was intending to do was to set sail for Syria. Now, Syria is way over here. Y'all see that? Where the little hand is. Okay, I'm going to go print to it. Now, you are, oh, no. Y'all messing with me. Okay, no, all right, here we go. All right, so there he is up in Greece. You see Athens? That's Greece. Now he was intending to sail from there over here to Syria. All right? But something happens where he have a change of plans. All right, Mike, what says?
When a plot was made against him.
Okay, so he planned to go from Greece over to Syria, but he found out about a plot to kill him. All right, Mike, let's keep going.
So he decided to return to Macedonia.
Okay, bring my map back now. Okay, so instead of going over to Syria, you guys are so sharp. Thank you. Who's ever pressing the button, Markel or Jillian, whoever. Now, instead, he decides, since they're trying to kill me, a plot that's waiting for me in Syria, what I'm going to do is he decides to return back through Macedonia. Y'all see this? So he doubles back here. And we figure he would have sailed from here because this, you see, this is right on the coast where they would have been able to launch and sail back to Syria. But he finds out about a plot to kill him, so he decides to go back through Macedonia, right? All right, Mike, keep going.
He was accompanied by Sopater.
Now, okay, keep going.
Son of Pyrrhus.
Michael, tearing it up. Okay, I don't know, man. No, I'm going to leave you out there by yourself, man. Huh? Oh, wait, go back. Okay, you missed it. Go back, where was it? Go back to the first gentleman.
Sopater, son of Pyrrhus.
Right.
From Berea.
Berea, y'all see it? This is where I'm pointing right now. So he's picking people up as he's traveling. You see what I'm saying? So, all right, keep going.
Aristarchus.
All right.
And Secundus.
Okay. Y'all see this here? See him traveling here? From Thessalonica now, he picks up Secundus and this other fella. Y'all see it? All right, keep going.
By Gaius from Derbe,
All right.
and by Timothy, as well as by Tychicus.
Now, if y'all remember, these are some of these fellas that he had sent ahead of him. He's picking them up now, and they're all going back now. Keep going. Sherelle, don't coach now, okay? Because he in deep now, okay? So we all gonna work with it, okay? Go ahead.
Tychicus and Trophimus from Asia.
The Trophimus or whatever, I don't know. Okay.
From Asia.
Okay. Now, y'all see this? This from here. This fella's been traveling from Asia. Okay, he's picking these guys up, going back to this region. But here he is up here in Macedonia now still. All right, keep going.
They went ahead and were waiting for us in Troy.
Now they go, see, now these fellas that he just mentioned, they went ahead of him, he said. Y'all see the hand traveling down? And they waited for him in Troas. So he's doubling back and coming there again. Y'all get it? All right. Now, said all that to get to the second question here. Where does Paul make a stop between Ephesus and Macedonia? We saw Troas. We saw him travel up through Greece, back around through Macedonia, Thessalonica, picking up people, and now he's heading back to Troas, okay? What was Paul's state of mind as he left for Macedonia? This is going back when he first started heading out. And we read Acts chapter 2. 2 Corinthians, you read a little bit, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse number 12. It says something about Paul's state of mind now. This is a Bible study, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so 2 Corinthians chapter 2, little bit, verses 12 through 13 again. We're going to see something about Paul's state of mind here before he does all this traveling. Okay? Stop. So when he first went to Troas, before he left, he was troubled. So this says something about his state of mind. He said, I had no peace of mind. He was troubled. Why was he troubled? Because he did not find Timothy. Titus, like I said. Okay, Sister Simmons said that. She said that. No, she did. All right, Titus. So he was troubled. So it says something about his state of mind, that he was troubled because he didn't find Titus there. Why would he be troubled that he did not find? Obviously, he was anticipating finding Titus there. Why would he be troubled? This is not a trick question. Why would you think he'd be troubled by that? Okay, a lot of trouble going on. What else? Why would he be so troubled? Say it again. Okay, they were killing people. Okay. He may have thought Titus had been injured with all this commotion going on, right? People getting killed off and whatnot. Also suggests that perhaps Paul had a deep affection for Titus. Now, we would see that he did have quite a connection with Titus because he wrote a letter to him from prison. Y'all remember? And that's where we get that letter from Titus, to Titus. But he already apparently has some kind of relationship with this young man. And so he's troubled because he didn't find him. So he may be concerned at this point about Titus' welfare, but he had to shake it off because he just said that a door, an opportunity had been opened in Macedonia. So even though he didn't find his brother there, we back to Paul again, remain amidst great trouble and confusion as we've seen in the past. He still has great focus on his mission, doesn't he? He never loses focus on. He was troubled that he didn't find Titus there, but he had just said a door, an opportunity had just opened for me in Macedonia. Okay, Titus not here. Man, I hope he's okay. But now I got to keep going, man, because I got this. He's thinking back to it on the Damascus Road, right? When Lord said, I'm going to use you as my vessel. He never forgot that. So even though he's troubled, he still has to push through this, doesn't he? Because he's got that mission, and he's got his purpose. He's really on point with his purpose. Also, he didn't have peace. Look at verse number 13, Beverly. Read verse 13 now. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 13. All right, now, yes, ma'am. Say it again. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's to find him. Remember, he said when he launched out that he was going there to preach the gospel of Christ.
The Bible says he went to Macedonia to find him. To find him.
What version is this? 13, okay. To find him. Remember when he first pressed out? Okay, when he first pressed out to Macedonia, Acts chapter 20 and verse number 1. Let's get back there and read it real quick. Acts chapter 20 and verse number 1. Mike, you were reading that. Come on.
After the uproar had ceased, Paul sent for the disciples, and after encouraging them and saying farewell, he left for Macedonia.
Read. Keep reading.
When he had gone through those regions and had given them much encouragement, he came to Greece.
Okay. All right. So he didn't go there just to find Timothy. His mission is to go and preach. An opportunity had opened for me, right? Y'all see what I'm saying? There was a window, an opportunity for him to go to. What verse was that, y'all? Was that verse 2? Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to add, I think what was also burning in Paul's mind was this idea of encouraging Titus, right? Because the disciples were being, as you were saying,
They were being persecuted, weren't they?
they were troubled, and so he really wanted to encourage him. And you see that in 2 Corinthians 7. And he finally found him and knew that he was encouraged. That lifted Paul's spirit. So I think this urgency to encourage Titus and to keep him focused on the gospel.
Absolutely. So Sister Bradley is pointing out, alluding to the fact that Paul's desire to encourage Titus was very heavy on his mind. So when he didn't find him there, he was very troubled. Now, see, we see how he responds when he does find him. I think it's verse 7, right? But hold on, don't go there, y'all, because we're still dealing with why he went to Macedonia in the first place. All right. This was 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse number 12, Beverly. Read that again, LeBain. Oh, she turned away from it. Okay, shame on her. That's Beverly McLaurie. That's not me. All right. Now I went to Troas. Y'all see it? Stop. Y'all see it? Now he went to Troas to preach the gospel there, but the Lord opened a door of opportunity for him. All right, go ahead. Right. Keep going. Okay, because that's where the door of opportunity was opened. So he couldn't stay in Troas to look for Titus. He went on because that door of opportunity was up in Macedonia. Now I have no doubt that he may have been looking for Titus there because he was already troubled that he didn't find him there. But he had gone there to preach the gospel. That's why he went. That's why the opportunity was open. Y'all see it? Okay. Right. Now, so we're talking about his state of mind now. He's troubled, he didn't find his friend. He wanted to encourage him. Okay, so that may have been weighing on his mind. Verse 13, Lil Bay, watch this. Okay. All right, no, I want you to remember I told you chapter 7 and verse 5 also. Now watch this, it's going to say a little bit more about his state of mind now. All right, keep going. You got it? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 7 now and verse number 5. He's giving an account again about his travels to the Corinthian church. Go ahead. Stop. So now he's saying when we finally made it to Macedonia, we had no rest. Go ahead. Y'all see this? So this says something about his state of mind. He's troubled, man. He's concerned. Paul was a living, breathing dude like us. I got conflicts outside. I got fears internally, man. Everywhere I go, people trying to kill me. Right? And my companions. Because we saw in one case where they couldn't get Paul, they dragged out his companions, beat him down. Right? So these are all the things that Paul is dealing with, still with that focus. I got to take this message of Jesus to the Gentiles. But that does not, that does not eliminate these fears and concerns that Paul has. He was a living, breathing dude just like us. And that's what I don't want us to miss. You can have fears. You can have concerns. But you can keep pressing on.
And it doesn't mean that you take less.
Right. That does not mean that your faith is wavering. It doesn't mean that God is upset with you because you have these fears. We have to deal with our fears and concerns if we have that focus in mind. I got a mission here. Okay? You can deal with your fears and your concerns. Let me tell you guys here. I'll just leave this with you. Mike, when all these things happened back in 2018, right? Rough time for me. My mother, both my sisters, all diagnosed with cancer. Then we got all this uproar at the church. Then I'm dealing with my brother at the time, trying to deal with him. All right? And trying to deal with him in a godly way. Okay? Which was very difficult. Right? And I was very fragile then because I didn't want to step outside of myself. I had a mind how to handle it.
Right.
You see, I'm about to mess it up, right? Embarrass everybody. And I was like, no, I don't think that's why God had me dealing with. So I tried me and the brother. I don't want to say it because I don't want to, and trying to deal with him. And I just couldn't get no ground. I said, okay, we got to take to some other people. He didn't want to go through that. Now I'm trying to do things the godly way. And I had I was having anxiety. I wasn't sleeping well. Man, I had an anxiety attack here. And some of the brothers with me, they were all, So time passes. We stepped away. Y'all know that. And I don't know. The Lord was just, I was chilling. Where I was good. All right. But the Lord was, I think I need you to go back to Normandy. Then I heard that Brother Talbert was here, and I know the affection I had for him. And so I kind of reconnected with him. And at any rate, the Lord brought us back, okay? I want y'all to know, when I came back, I was concerned. As my father would say, I was more nervous than the cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I was concerned. Because I didn't know what the environment would be. I didn't know if people would receive me. I didn't know people mad at me, that kind of thing like that. Right? I didn't know how Brother Talbot would feel because I thought the Lord was using him. I wanted to help him. And y'all get on my nerves. Some of y'all I could not get out of my head. Married these two. Right? So I'm thinking things like this. I said, God, all I could get is that you're pulling me back here. Well, looking back, I know it was the right move. Right? Lord have blessed us richly. But when I came back, many fears. What's the environment like? There was conflict when I left. I know that. I had fears. I know some people mad at me, I stepped away. Well, I said, what y'all want me to do? Fall out and have a heart attack? Okay. Thank you, Sister Bradley. This lady here, we had many conversations. Okay. And my other therapist right there, Beverly, constantly talking to me. Right? All that to say that I was able to push through that, even though I did have great concern and fear, because I know God has a mission and a plan for all of us. We have to find a purpose in the kingdom, y'all. And you don't have to be a preacher neither. What is God want to do with me in this place? How can I bless the church? How can I serve the Lord? Right? You will have concerns. You may have fear, but you can push through that if you find your purpose. And nobody can tell you that. Because there were plenty of people say, man, don't go back over there, Sam. Don't you go over there. How many people concerned for me? You know what happened last time you was there? But in my mind, I was like, yeah, but that was then. Now, unless you can cut the Lord off in my head, ringing in my ears, I want you over there, right? I had to just, trust God. And all I'm saying is, you will have those concerns. Doesn't mean you're unfaithful. Doesn't mean that you're not strong. Doesn't mean, and you will have vulnerable moments. Right, Sister Bradley? I'm saying her because she know my moments. You ain't told my business, honey.
Of course.
Thank you. All right. She keep it confident. And she knew what I was concerned about. She knew how I was hurt. But if you find your purpose, you can press through those fears and concerns. And God will use you. I believe that with all my heart. God will use you. Yes, ma'am. Say loud. Very well could have kept me from saying what I felt like saying. Because really at the time, and I think it all came to a head because at the time, I was so angry. See, and my reprobate man was telling me, you know what to do here, Sam. You need, I'm like, no. Because I got all those things in my head that God telling me, okay, you don't return evil with evil. All these things, right? Blessed are the peacemakers, not the peace breakers. So I'm trying to be that dude, and maybe God just said, okay, that's enough. And after God got through me, I had to deal with her then. No sooner she get me up, they tell me that when this happened, all I was saying is, call Beverly. That's all I could get out. So she gets there to me, and she gets me, and she sees I'm okay, the paramedic come. She gets me in the car, and she said, okay, no more meetings for you. Right? Thank God. Thank God.
I'm also grateful that you and Beverly both listen to the Holy Spirit, right? You can't underestimate his work in and through you guys, because a lot was happening. There were a lot of voices, but you all listened when the Holy Spirit was pulling you back, and I think it's the power of God in you.
It must be because everything in me was telling me, no way in the world. I'm through with that. 14, yeah, that was enough.
Yes.
But when I got back on my feet, I was like, why is the Lord, pulling at me like this, right? And that's how the Holy Spirit works, right? And we have to make a decision. Either I'm going to follow this call on, or I'm just going to be comfortable over here and be good, right? So Simmons, we got to quit, y'all. So Simmons, then Mike, if y'all can go quick. Yeah. Oh, Brother Talbot, give me that look, y'all. We should have been through already. Quick. Yeah.
This is God's house.
Yes.
You're not running nothing here.
Right.
You, I don't care whether you're a preacher, elder, deacon, members, you don't run God's house.
Okay, it's the Lord's house, right? It's his.
So if you're finding yourself, what shall I do? You have to go back to
All right, Mike.